Hello, everyone. Um, welcome to this new video. It's gonna be a video for now. Um, this is for my beautiful patrons on the Patreon here. So this is gonna be like a little introduction to what I'm planning to do here. So basically, the plan is to sort of give you a little bit of a peek behind the scenes of what's happening and kind of just, you know, how I sort of compose music and stuff like that. So, I don't know. Could be interesting. We'll see where it's gonna go. Eventually, I'm gonna plan to live stream this on Patreon. So that's probably gonna be what I'm gonna end up doing. But for now, it's just gonna be videos. So you have to kind of bear with me on that. So let's get into it, shall we? Alright, so here we're in Guitar Pro. I have bought this program years ago when it was on sale, I think. But yeah, so I have a bunch of songs already written. So let's see. Let's create a new file, right? And let's say we're gonna go jazz guitar because that's we're composing it for my jazz guitar. And we're gonna go into 12/8, maybe 6/8, 12/8, 6/8, 12/8. Yeah, let's go 6/8. So that's gonna give us 6/8 notes basically to work with. Let's go 6/8. Why not? And let's pick some key. What key should we go? Major, minor? I'm kind of feeling like D major maybe. Alright, D major. And let's see, D major, we have an F sharp and no, D major, we need to select this to a D major. Oh, D major, there we go. So we got an F sharp and a C sharp. So we can basically start with like, I like to basically start with like very simple chord progressions. I usually like randomly generate chord progressions and then see what I can do with them for these like experiments, I guess we can call them. And then just like, switch up the minor major and like, maybe switch up like the, instead of going a 5, a 6 or whatever. Yeah, I'm still pretty much a beginner. I mean, I'm self-taught, self-made. But I think I have a pretty decent grasp on music theory, at least like the very beginner like music theory that like exists. So I'm gonna like basically use this to like learn more advanced stuff. But yeah, so anyway, do we go capo? Do I feel like we capo this? We could capo it on this F sharp minor 7 here, if that even is an F sharp minor 7. I think that is an F sharp minor 7, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, it's F sharp minor actually. F sharp minor? Because we need the E there. Yeah, it is an F sharp minor 7, I'm right. Yeah, this one right here is an F sharp minor 7. We will get so if we get this, we get a E chord, and then we have an F sharp minor 7 here. So if you capo it on 2, we'll get an open F sharp minor 7 chord, which could lead us to some interesting sounds. Or let's do like something a bit more experimental in D major. I'm gonna actually switch this to a different tuning here. So track. I'm actually gonna compose this for a nylon guitar. So let's get rid of this guitar completely. Remove jazz guitar. Yeah. And we add acoustic nylon. There we go. We're gonna go to 6/8 and we're gonna go to D major key. There we go. So 6/8 D major key. All right. And we're in standard tuning. This is already a little bit too fast for the song I go, so we go 95. I like composing around like 95, 100 BPM. I think it kind of gives like a reasonable sort of way to play songs, you know. And yeah, we need the tuning. So standard, let's go for open D because I have a nylon guitar tuned in open D. Oops, there we go. So now we are in open D tuning with the D major. So this gives us actually quite a good sort of, it actually gives us like a good sort of bass to work with because we have an open D major chord. So in a D major, you know, we have the open D chord, so we can use that. We could obviously capo it on like fret 5. I don't know, man. Let's try with like two, which is an E. An E chord, which would be this one. Then we're gonna go major though. So E. So that's a minor third. Yeah, so it's an E minor. Yeah, we get an E minor, which is this one. Oops. Yeah. So that's an E minor. That would be the second degree of the D major scale, or the D major key. We could obviously put the root here on the low E string to make it sound a bit more interesting. Maybe we will put this here. So that's 2 right there. So that would be an E minor. I like intersparing with like the chords and stuff like that. Do you want to go something a bit more balladic, you know, a bit more like a ballad sort of thing? Let me think. We'll just go the low E string, but I don't know if we should start on the chord. Yeah, so basically I want to do, that doesn't sound bad. So we have a G chord. Maybe we can like bring our way up to the G chord here. So are these eighth notes? No, these are quarter notes, which means we only have half, so we only have 3 to work with in this case. Maybe let's just compose it for eighth notes. And then this G chord here. So that's a G chord. That would be a major third right here. Oh, so it's a diminished though. A diminished fifth. No. So it's a G chord. Okay, I was right the first time around about the fact that it's a G chord. Yeah, the G. So G, major. Oh no, it's not diminished. It's 3.5. It's D. It's just a normal fifth. Oh, I counted it wrong. Okay. So maybe we could do something like this. Do 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 do. Maybe we could like slide out. I just realized that you can't hear the sound of the thing here. Okay. That sounds okay. Maybe we could probably put like do 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 do. We're gonna put that E minor chord in there. Start on a minor second and then a major fourth. Let's increase this to be an eighth note so we get 6 of them. Let's see. I have my beautiful nylon guitar here, so we can try out these songs as I write them. Let me just oops, I've hit my light. So we start on a E chord. Oops, yeah, so that's 1 and 2 and 2. So we start on an E chord, E minor chord. Should be an E minor. I think my guitar is out of tune. Oh, yes, it is. Let me just tune my guitar first of all. That's a bit of a necessity. Let me just tune my guitar here. Should have done this earlier, but yeah, the guitar is out of tune. Standard, we want open D. Okay. I just bought like new strings for this. There we go. So it's all in tune now. Perfecto. There we go. So now it should sound normal. Okay. So that is like. So we still have. There's a boom. It doesn't sound bad, but it's a bit more boring. So maybe we could try and put some more interesting sort of like things here. Some more interesting like sounds here. So maybe we start on the E chord. Yeah, I quite like the E chord here. Ooh, that's tasty. So maybe we could go E minor, G, D. So 2 4 1. Minor second, minor second, major fourth, and major 1. That's some like... Okay, so we have 6 notes, so let's start off here. We need to somehow like move to the chord. We also have an F sharp here. We also have this F sharp minor, I think. And we can add some arpeggios maybe. Not bad. Yeah, so we can add some arpeggios maybe. So, which arpeggios would sound really nice in this chord progression? So F sharp, which is our third. So we can go minor second, minor third, major fifth, major fourth, and then major first. Yeah, I mean, it sounds kind of nice. Sounds a bit relaxing, you know, which is what we were going for. So maybe we can put some arpeggios on here. Okay. So let's go 2, 2, 2. All right. So that would be... Now go for the F sharp here. Leads us down to 4. So this F sharp minor, right? Yeah, it's an F sharp minor, obviously. So this F sharp minor, maybe... Oh, we already reached our limit here. Let's actually switch this to 12/8. So now we have more notes to work with in one bar. Alright, and then a G chord here. So then we can have our G chord right here. Alright. And obviously we want to let ring to give it this kind of like ambient sound. You know. So yeah, so I'm just playing my guitar here, you know, obviously. So we have E minor, F sharp minor, G. Then I want to arpeggiate that. Okay. Give us this, alright. We're going up. What would an A chord sound like? That would be the 6th here. So we got that E minor. B5, 6. So we can have we need to somehow fit it into one bar. So we go E minor, F sharp minor, G, G. So we can maybe do the same. There we go. And then the last bar could be like something different could happen in the last bar. So we've got here. Well, let's go for the A chord here. An A chord, which would be the 7th, major 7th. Then arpeggio. Oops. Then we can have this chord, which gives us a sus chord. Let's see how that would sound. That's a D there, so that would give us the root of the D here. So the D major, we get add the D, which is this one right here. And then the D will lead, because the D is the root of the D major chord, so maybe we could have like do 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 do. Yeah. So then here we get an A sus4 and then this, and then we can get our D chord. There we go. All right. There we go. Oops. All right. Alright, let's try and experiment with a little bit of a different sort of option here. We could then go with we can use that as our intro, and then the main part could be, let's see, an E minor chord, and then we could go 2 4 2 4 5. So that's 1 2 3 4 5 6. So that would be do, 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 do. A G. No. Do, 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 that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay. Maybe 0 2 5 4 4 5 4, and then F sharp minor, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we go do 8, 9, 10, 11, 10. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11. Somehow leading into G. Maybe we could put like fermatas on these as well. So not bad, doesn't sound bad. Okay. You couldn't have a part that repeats itself, so maybe have a variation on this. And then we can then use this ending theme from the intro to basically end this bar as well. So we could basically use it to like end every bar. So we have to somehow. So I want to write it somehow to lead to that A chord, and then we can have like the A. So here we have this one. So yeah. Okay, that's good. Right, then we can use a bit of a different. So here we go. We can add a C sharp. Where is our C sharp? We don't have a C sharp here. Oh, we do have a C sharp. We can have this A. And a variation of an A chord here. That's A suspended to add 13. So it's a sus to add 13 without the fifth degree, basically, without the fifth, which is a ridiculous chord that we are probably not gonna play. Just add some melody to it and it will be fine. I'm thinking like, what can we do here that's like that would like make sense, you know? So I kind of want like the melody as well. So maybe we could do another E minor. Another E minor. And this time maybe take this part right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. We can then do the F sharp minor. So I'm thinking in a sense of like, because this is an open D, so we don't really have access to like weird chords, you know? So we can just keep it simple. So it's actually kind of a good challenge, you know, to sort of like write something that would sound engaging and beautiful, you know, in such a restrictive open tuning. So that would be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can just go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, the G chord. 12, the G chord. There we go. Alright. And then we can just, the ending of this bar could just be this, basically, again. So we have something that sounds like this. Obviously, we put fermatas on these. We don't put the fermatas on those. Yeah, it sounds really pretty. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, so we have an A chord here that we can use. Then A sus4 and a D chord right here. An open D, so D major right there. There we go. This is very difficult to play on guitar. It's not easy, but it sounds really pretty. Okay. Let's try a different chord progression. Let's now switch it up. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. So maybe we can copy and paste it here again, or we could just do this. I think that's a much better. So we can just repeat 2 times. There we go. And then I wanna do some magic here. So let's start on an F sharp, so 2nd degree, but a sus chord. Is it a sus chord? Yes, F sus4. Maybe we can start on an F sharp, F sharp, F sharp, arpeggiate that, F sharp sus4 that we had eventually, that we had here. So this F sharp sus4 right there, and an F sharp right here. So this F sharp right here, F sharp sus4, which we can arpeggiate, and then lead that to the G chord. There we go, which we can then arpeggiate. Okay. Then we can what can we do here? Let me think. So we can then basically do that again. There we go. We are at 5, 7, and 1. There we go. So we can then arpeggiate that, and then we can do this again. So instead of F sharp, so we start on an F sharp right here. So F sharp minor, F sharp minor, F sharp sus4. Then we go G, and then we go A, and then we go A sus4, and then we go D. Okay, and then we can have another one in the same progression, but with some melody on top of it, and then we can basically repeat it again. And that gives us a 1 minute song, basically, so... That gives us a nice little 1 minute song. So then we can arpeggiate that. Okay, good. So let's start on our F sharp minor. And now we need to somehow... So we can move. So let's go... Let's actually we can then spice this up a little bit by using different modes. So in this case, what we switched up, we went from using the E minor to F sharp minor, F sharp sus G instead of E minor, F sharp G, F sharp minor G. We could switch it up and use a different mode here. So let's do that. Let's just go for, like, we have Ionian, which is the first mode. We can just go to Dorian, like D Dorian basically, and borrow some notes from D Dorian for the melody. So that would be the sus4. 1. 2. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be the F sharp sus4. So we can nicely leads it there. And then I wanna borrow to the G chord, which is basically that one, some nice melody as well. So 10, 2, 2, 2, 2. What lends nicely into the G? Maybe we could do these F, A, C, D. So this D chord right here, or this F. So this would be like basically, oops, yeah, an F6 chord. We could do like crazy stuff here with the Dorian and stuff like that, but let's not get too like wild, Sometimes, like, using ridiculous chords, doesn't really like, doesn't mean that like the piece is gonna be pretty and beautiful sounding, I'm just gonna avoid using like ridiculously complicated chords from, like, especially me not being a pro, like a super ultra mega pro at music theory. I'm like competent, not like super ultra skilled pro, but like, competent, I would say. So we would have here, so what nicely leads to like the G chord here that we have. Maybe we could just like follow like 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe this? And 12 would be the G chord. Just for like the ending. So another F sharp minor. Let's make a different melody. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have this one right here, 4, and then 3. So we have this 3 right here. So we need to end at a B. Okay, so let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hmm. Six would be F sharp sus 4, and then F sharp sus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's a G. Okay, delete that. Put a G there. And then, oops. Let's put the outro. Put the other one here, this one. And play that. And then here I want to change it to 4/4. I want to do this, and I want to add a D, open D chord here, the D, or add the D. There we go. We added the D. There we go. So we have this one. Let's not repeat it. Let's just go with an outro. So it's like a nice 1-minute song, So we start at F. Maybe we would probably like to use something else here. So we do have the E minor here, but instead we have an F chord, not an F sharp chord. Oops. Eighth note, please. So E minor. In the Dorian, we got an E minor here. Now let's do... Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then an F chord right here. There we go. We have an F chord. Nice. An F chord. All right. An F chord, and then we want to land on the G chord. G. And then we have an A minor. So we land on an F chord. Yeah, so now we can have a different voicings of the chord and with different chords. So we have an F chord and a let's go in A minor, A minor. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, an A minor. Nice. So now we can have access to the A minor in the Dorian mode. So let's do that again. E minor. Let's pick a different melody. Something that leads to, like, we need something that leads to, like, oops. Leads to that F chord. So maybe we can do 1, 2, 3, 6, and then an F chord. An F chord right here. And then something that leads to the A minor. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11. A minor is this one. A minor. Okay. And then we can just go back to the C Ionian, the D Ionian, and paste that. And then we can just have that. Obviously, I want to have fermatas on these. A minor. This is an A. An A minor. Let's just have like a descending lick. So let's have the B. There's a C chord right here. Whoops. So we have a C chord right here on the 10. So let's go C, C, this chord right here, which should be an F6. I don't know if I want to use the F6 though. We have this chord right here as well. Another very like ridiculous chord that I'm not really a big fan of, so we'll just bin that. And I guess we can go back to like A minor then. A minor. Why not? Instead of A, we'll just make it minor then. A minor, 7, 6, 7. And then a G. Let's just have a G major chord here as like the final chord. There we go, and then we end on a D, which is probably pretty nice. Oops, I didn't put a fermata on this one. Actually sounds really nice. Okay, yeah, that D, you know, genuinely helps it there. It just kind of just gives it a nice sort of like full stop there, kind of like whoomph, you know, that D chord on the end there. It's not really in the key of, it's not really in the D Dorian mode, but it's in the E Ionian. So, you know, so this one is borrowed from like the D Dorian to just kind of make it more interesting, you know. Kind of like ended there. I mean, we could repeat this like twice, maybe just like one repeat here, and then we just go boom, end on the D chord, like we like. All right, so the whole thing sounds like this. The D major chord. Okay, so there we go. So we got the Nice. Okay, so all I have to do now is basically just learn it, and you know, that would be it. So yeah, so we can borrow like from Dorian and stuff like that, which I always need to like stuff. So yeah, I kind of just want to show you how to like make something interesting with only like 3 chords or 4 chords, you know. So we can like, so we have like the major minor second, the major fourth, and then we borrow like chords from the Dorian mode to kind of give it a bit more of like an end, to give it like a bit of a different flavor of like the D major key, you know. And I guess that's kind of just like how I think. I kind of just want that melody interspersed with chords, you know, like the chord melody, which requires a lot of practice and is very difficult to master. But yeah, so basically, this is just how it should be, you know? So we get like some arpeggios here, you know, some chord melody, and then some arpeggios in the Dorian mode, you know, some chords in the Dorian mode, and yeah, we borrow chords from the Dorian mode, we borrow melody from the Dorian mode, and we basically just sort of do it like that. So that's how this works, basically. Like, well, obviously, I will work really hard to basically give you insight onto a bit more like complicated pieces as well that need to be like, you know, need to be like that need a lot more work. But this is just like, you know, getting your feet wet, you know, nothing too obviously complicated, you know, just, you know, showing you that like even, you know, the simpler chords, you know, can sound really beautiful and stuff like that, you know, the chord melody and stuff. Yeah. I quite like this song. I think I'm gonna learn it and upload it to Patreon and YouTube at some point in the future. So, yeah, I think that's it. That's the end of this video. It's a nice 1 minute 30 song. And I'm gonna give you a demo of it, and then we'll see if it's worth expanding upon and, you know, making it into something a bit bigger. So we will see. So yeah, that's it. So see you later in another one of these videos that I'm gonna make. So bye.